Oh, my dear friends, for years we've all carried this beautiful, comforting illusion within our hearts that family, like a grand ancient oak tree, would stand forever strong, its branches unwavering, its roots eternally bound. When we were younger, we pictured our family, our parents, children, siblings, cousins, as an unchanging constellation fixed in the sky of our lives. We truly believed those bonds we cherished would remain unshakable, everlasting, a constant source of warmth and unwavering support. Yet, as the years have gently, or perhaps not so gently, turned the page to our 60s, our 70s, even our 80s, a quiet, almost startling realization begins to dawn. A truth no one truly prepared us for, one whispered by the twilight years themselves. We discover that family, far from being static, transforms in the most profound and sometimes heartbreaking ways. The familiar dynamics begin to shift, the roles we knew can reverse, and those relationships we once considered as sturdy as bedrock can unexpectedly become fragile, even sources of quiet sorrow. Today, I want to gently pull back the curtain on four deep truths about family life that often only reveal themselves in our later years. These are not easy truths, mind you, but understanding them can do one of two things. They can leave you feeling deeply heartbroken, or if you choose to embrace them with wisdom and an open heart, they can astonishingly set you free to live the rest of your precious life with a newfound sense of peace, unwavering dignity, and formidable inner strength. You see, the power lies not in denying these changes, but in mastering them. One of the most profound and sometimes painful revelations awaiting us in our later years is the stark reality that money possesses an uncanny ability to peel back the layers and expose the genuine heart of a family. If you ever wish to glimpse the unvarnished truth about people, simply introduce the subject of money into the equation. As we navigate our elder years and the conversations inevitably turn to wills, inheritances, and the disposition of property accumulated over a lifetime of hard work, you might begin to witness aspects of your own family, even your dearest children, that you never, in your wildest dreams, imagined possible. The truly shocking truth is that finances act as a powerful X-ray, revealing the true faces of those around us. While some of your children may indeed love you with an undeniable and selfless devotion, for others, the unspoken thought of what you might eventually leave behind can become a hidden, sometimes insidious motivator. You might notice certain family members visiting more frequently, but is it truly out of genuine care or a subtle calculation? Their words may be kind, their smiles warm, but could it be less about love and more about a quiet apprehension of being excluded from future endowments? Then, tragically, when the moment arrives to distribute the tangible fruits of your life's labor, what often unfolds are not peaceful discussions, but heated arguments, bitter sibling rivalries, and a painful fracturing of relationships that just yesterday seemed utterly indestructible. It is this very phenomenon that leaves so many older parents feeling a profound sense of disillusionment in their golden years. They slowly come to the heartbreaking realization that, for some relatives, their inherent value lies not in who they are as a person, but rather in what they possess. While this discovery can feel utterly devastating, it is simultaneously incredibly clarifying. Because once you see this truth clearly, you gain the power and foresight to act with immense wisdom. This means proactively protecting yourself legally, making informed decisions about your wealth well in advance, long before anyone can exert undue pressure or influence. If you choose to share your blessings while you are still alive, do so, but never in a manner that compromises your own security or leaves you vulnerable. Moreover, subtly test the loyalty of your family by observing how they genuinely treat you when there is absolutely no monetary gain to be had. Do not be swayed or fooled by superficial kindness. Authentic love reveals itself unmistakably when there is nothing material to be gained. And above all, etch this vital lesson into your heart. Your hard-earned money was intended to enrich your life and provide comfort, not to become a destructive force that shatters your peace. Utilize it to ensure your old age is comfortable and dignified rather than attempting to purchase fleeting affection. Strive to leave behind a legacy of blessings and tranquility, not a battlefield of resentment, because ultimately, what your children truly inherit from you extends far beyond mere property. It is the enduring and powerful example of dignity, integrity, and grace that you lived and embodied. Another profoundly difficult truth, perhaps the most challenging to fully absorb, is that love, despite our fervent hopes and deepest commitments, can indeed wane, and loyalties, once seemingly immutable, have the heartbreaking potential to shift. We dedicate decades of our lives, pouring ourselves out, making countless sacrifices for our children, our beloved family. We often postpone our own dreams, our aspirations, so that theirs might flourish and take flight. We deeply believed that this profound love was eternal, an unbreakable chain, that the loyalty we nurtured would stand unwavering against the winds of change. Yet, the unsettling truth is laid bare. Love is not always static, and the allegiances we rely upon can, and sometimes do, undergo a seismic shift. As your children mature and forge their own paths, they inevitably construct their own vibrant lives and new families. Their spouses, their burgeoning careers, their own precious children, these become the focal points of their universe. Slowly, almost imperceptibly at first, the very center of their world begins to drift further and further from you. The once frequent phone calls may become less common, the cherished visits regrettably shorter. "We'll come see you soon," they promise. But those promises, with increasing frequency, stretch into months, sometimes years. And with a quiet, aching certainty, you realize that the very people who once clung to you, depending on your every move, now inhabit a bustling world where you are no longer the undisputed priority. This difficult shift doesn't always imply a diminished love, but it certainly signifies that their loyalty has become beautifully yet undeniably divided. And occasionally, with devastating clarity, it signifies a true, heartbreaking fading of that love. Some children, driven by their own paths, distance themselves out of what can only be perceived as selfishness, while other relatives simply drift away because they no longer perceive a tangible benefit in diligently maintaining the bond. The truth, as bitter as it may taste, is that not every family tie will possess the resilience to withstand the relentless tests of time and change. This, however, is precisely where profound wisdom blossoms. Rather than desperately clutching at a fading love or agonizing over declining loyalty, cultivate an independence of the heart. Release the need to constantly measure your happiness by the frequency of others' calls or visits. Instead, proactively create a rich, fulfilling life of your own design. Discover genuine joy in the simple, comforting rhythms of your daily routines. Consciously choose to surround yourself with people, new friends, kind neighbors, active community members, individuals who actively choose to be a part of your life, not those who feel burdened by obligation. The true tragedy of growing older is to spend your precious remaining years passively waiting by a silent phone, yearning for a love that may no longer arrive. The profound strength and liberation of old age lie in realizing that your intrinsic worth is not, and never will be, dependent on who remembers you or how often they call. Your worth is magnificently defined by the way you choose to live with dignity, purpose, and self-respect, even if your circumstances mean you live alone. Love may indeed fade and loyalties may irrevocably shift, but true, profound peace is ultimately discovered when you cease chasing after what has irrevocably left and instead open your heart and hands to gracefully embrace all that lovingly remains. Then, there's the undeniable shift concerning respect itself. It's no longer an automatic offering. Instead, we must actively redefine our own profound value in this evolving world. In days gone by, respect felt wonderfully straightforward. Age alone was a powerful command for honor and reverence. If you were the elder, your pronouncements were often final, your wisdom unquestioned. Families would instinctively rise when you entered a room. Their voices would soften in your presence, and they would look to you, almost universally, as the unwavering source of guidance and sagacity. But those times, my dear friends, have irrevocably changed. The challenging truth now is that respect is no longer an inherent entitlement bestowed simply by virtue of your years. You must, with quiet strength, redefine and assert your unique value. As we grow older, modern society, often without conscious malice, tends to view us through a different lens. You may no longer be the primary breadwinner, nor the one making the most significant overarching decisions for the family. You might not possess the physical strength or the swiftness of youth that dominates so much of contemporary culture. And in a world ceaselessly obsessed with breakneck speed, youthful vigor, and cutting-edge technology, your invaluable, deeply acquired wisdom can, if you allow it, become alarmingly invisible. This societal shift is precisely why so many older parents experience the painful sensation of being overlooked at the very dinner table or casually dismissed in important conversations by their own grown children and even their grandchildren. Yet, here is the empowering reality. If you truly desire to command respect in your later years, you must earn it, not by demanding it, but by the dignified way you conduct yourself every single day. This doesn't involve begging for attention, endless complaining, or petulantly demanding recognition. Instead, it signifies living in a manner so full of quiet confidence and purpose that it subtly compels others to acknowledge and appreciate your inherent dignity. Keep your brilliant mind actively engaged. Stay informed about the world around you. Speak with calm authority that comes from a lifetime of experience, not from a place of desperation. And when others, intentionally or otherwise, display disrespect towards you, it becomes absolutely vital to gently yet firmly establish clear boundaries. Never permit anyone to speak down to you, as though the invaluable wealth of your years and experiences mean absolutely nothing. Remember, true respect is not solely predicated on what you once accomplished, but rather on the magnificent person you represent now. If you carry yourself with an air of bitterness or resignation, you may evoke pity, but rarely genuine respect. However, if you choose to carry yourself with profound wisdom, serene composure, and an unshakable, quiet strength, you will undoubtedly earn the deepest respect, even from those who may have once carelessly dismissed you. Cherish this truth. Old age is not a diminishment or a sign of weakness. It is, in its highest form, a profound mastery of life. You have bravely navigated storms your children have yet to even glimpse. You have carried burdens they cannot even begin to imagine. Never, ever diminish your immense self-worth by desperately seeking external approval. Instead, redefine your value from within and allow your magnificent presence to quietly yet powerfully demand the respect you unequivocally deserve. Finally, we arrive at perhaps the most liberating revelation of all. In our later years, silence, in all its profound simplicity, transforms into our ultimate superpower. In our younger, more tempestuous years, we instinctively argued every point, meticulously defended every action, painstakingly explained every decision, and vigorously fought for every single inch of respect we felt was due. But as the gentle currents of time carry us into older age, a truly astonishing truth begins to crystallize. Silence becomes, quite unexpectedly, our most potent and strategic superpower. Family drama, with its intricate webs and endless cycles, will never entirely cease. Relatives, often inadvertently, will misunderstand your intentions. Your own children at times may show a lack of due respect. People with their varying perspectives and often limited understandings will sometimes twist your words, engage in gossip behind your back, or casually dismiss your very real feelings. In the fervor of youth, your natural inclination would have been to fiercely combat these injustices, to tirelessly strive to prove them wrong. However, in the hallowed wisdom of your later years, you will unearth a far more valuable and precious commodity: the profound realization that peace, your inner tranquility, is infinitely more valuable and deserving of protection than the fleeting satisfaction of being right in an argument. Silence, in this context, is emphatically not a symbol of weakness or defeat. It is, in fact, an eloquent testament to true mastery. When you consciously choose to stop squandering your invaluable energy on fruitless arguments that are utterly incapable of changing anything of substance, you simultaneously safeguard your precious health, your vibrant mind, and your tender heart. You no longer feel compelled to exhaustively explain your carefully considered choices to children who, at that moment, are simply not listening with an open heart. You realize there's no inherent need to engage in draining battles with siblings who perhaps seem to thrive on discord and drama. You certainly have absolutely no obligation to justify the entirety of your life's journey to anyone. Silence, in this profound sense, is an embodiment of true dignity. Silence is an undeniable expression of formidable strength. Silence serves as the protective armor that shields you from being unnecessarily dragged into utterly pointless and exhausting conflicts. When you intentionally choose silence, you are not in any way admitting defeat. On the contrary, you are elevating yourself above the fray, demonstrating a superior understanding of life's intricate dance. This, my dear friends, is the profound wisdom of old age, the deep-seated understanding that your inner peace is a treasure far more precious and rare than any temporary triumph in an argument. You have absolutely nothing left to prove to anyone. Your life, with all its trials and triumphs, has already spoken a language far louder and more impactful than any words ever could. And so, when disrespect unfortunately arises, when moments of perceived betrayal sting, or when family dynamics threaten to pull you into the vortex of conflict, choose the profound power of silence. Choose it not because you lack the ability or the words to fight back, but precisely because you steadfastly refuse to expend your dwindling and precious energy on battles that do not serve your peace. Your silence in old age is not a void. It is a resonant space brimming with power. It is an expansive declaration of freedom. It is the ultimate quiet reminder that you no longer require external validation or affirmation because you already, intrinsically and completely, know your immense and immutable worth. So, my dear friends, these are the four profound, sometimes unsettling, but ultimately liberating truths about family dynamics that come sharply into focus as we embrace our later years. Remember them well. Money possesses an undeniable power to reveal the true faces of family members. Love can heartbreakingly fade, and loyalties can surprisingly shift. Respect in this modern era is no longer an automatic given. You must, with quiet strength and conviction, redefine your own inherent value. And finally, silence, in its deepest form, will become your most potent superpower. These truths, though they may initially sound harsh or daunting, are in fact incredibly liberating. When you courageously accept and truly integrate them into your understanding, you will find yourself no longer dwelling in the stagnant waters of disappointment. Instead, you will begin to live with a glorious, undeniable dignity. You will cease the exhausting act of waiting for others to define your immense worth, and instead, you will confidently begin the profound work of creating peace entirely on your own terms. Old age, far from being a period of weakness or decline, is a vibrant season of profound wisdom. It is not about being forgotten by the world, but about remembering the magnificent person you are, fully and authentically. It is not about desperately chasing after fleeting love, but about cultivating a deep, abiding love and respect for yourself right here, right now. Embrace these truths, my friends, and step into the richest, most dignified chapter of your extraordinary life.